Hello and welcome to The Arise interview, 60 minutes of multifaceted discussion where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and we feature the voices at the heart of the stories. I'm Charles Anyekulu. Coming up in the next hour, the Nigerian-born international classical opera singer Abiodun Koya joins us in the studio as she prepares for a series of concerts in Nigeria this Christmas. Ms. Koya is one of the few professionally trained opera singers of African descent, renowned globally for her art and her performances in some of the most prestigious places on earth, including the White House and the Democratic National Convention in the United States. The beautiful and hugely talented Abiodun Koya coming up. And later, Britain are facing questions about the early release from jail of the convicted terrorists who carried out Friday's deadly knife attack in London. Usman Khan killed 2 people and injured 3 others before being shot dead by police on London Bridge. He was sentenced in 2012 for his role in a plot to bomb the London Stock Exchange, but was freed on licence last year. Members of Britain's National Counter-Terrorism Office said they'd long been warning of the dangers of releasing such offenders. We'll speak to a security analyst in London in a moment. Now let's talk to one African who went to America and was able to make her dreams come true on a scale that went beyond her wildest imagination. Abiodun Koya came to the US with a dream to become a classical singer first and foremost, but also, if possible, a composer, an actress and an author. Well, guess what? All those dreams did eventually come true. She's published books, launched CDs, pursued an acting career in Atlanta, Georgia, where she lived for many years, and she has performed at the White House as well as the Democratic Party convention and numerous other political and social events in the US, Europe and across Africa. To this day, her classical music style continues to wow audiences around the world. We'll speak to the Nigerian-born international classical singer with the compass of a soprano in a moment. But first, take a listen to her in this riveting performance. absolutely remarkable voice. And I'm delighted to say that I'm joined now in the studio by the beautiful and hugely talented soprano, Abiodun Koya. Every time I hear your voice, I mean, I just, it's just so riveting.
Thank
you know,
you.
like somebody said, you hear that voice and you just can't help listening and watching.
Thank you so much.
But interestingly, I mean, you didn't actually study music at university. You studied business. How come?
So I had always known that I wanted to be a singer from age 6, but my parents didn't want me to be a singer because they didn't think I would have
You had a hope.
I would have a future singing. So they said they wanted me to become an accountant, and I hated mathematics. Like, I always failed maths. It wasn't just my thing.
Well, welcome to the party.
So I said, okay, you know what? I like management. So let me give you, let's meet halfway. Let me study business management. So I went to the university, studied business management, and after that, I went for my master's in voice. So, I gave them what I wanted, and I got what I wanted.
Right. So at some point, you went into training.
Yes.
But not just training to be a singer, but to be a classical singer.
Yes.
I understand you had a Chinese vocal coach for many years.
I do. I've been with her for 12, 13 years.
So she's still with you?
She's still with me.
Right.
I saw her 2 weeks ago, and she had cancer for a while, and I was so scared because she's the best thing that happened to me because she got me that techniques, the singing techniques. She was able to let me get the entire promising, vibrant color for my voice to come out. So she was very rigorous with me, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm still with her. And I've never really met someone else like her. Like, I've traveled around the world, but she's difficult.
And she lives in America, does she?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Extraordinary range you've got there, but then I suppose that's why you're a soprano.
Right.
And at what point did you feel that you were ready to take on classical singing as a career? Because it's one thing to just say, I'm going to, you know, mess around and sing a little bit, maybe play an instrument, you know, but to take on it as a career, presumably you were getting feedback from your coach and from others saying, go for it.
So it was my second year in the university, like second year in the university. I was lucky to have a school president that believed in me. My school president.
And that was a university?
In the university in Washington, D.C.
Right.
So he and his wife took a special interest in this African student that could sing so well.
And how did they come across you singing?
People told them.
Okay.
They said, oh, you've
I
got
wonder if you were sort of in little gigs and so on at the university.
Yes, I would just sing like in classrooms or like bathroom or the corridors of the classrooms and all that. So they said, you know what, we are going to make sure that we help you. And they gave me the opportunities to perform at the school functions, within the school and outside the school. And guess what? I sang at my commencement ceremony. They made me sing.
Brilliant.
So that was my first.
Those are usually quite big events, aren't they?
15,000.
Yeah.
So that was my first big audience ever. So they gave me that opportunity, and I sang "Climb Every Mountain" from The Sound of Music.
I've actually heard you singing The Sound of Music itself. You know, the hills are alive.
The hills are alive. Yes.
Absolutely incredible.
Thank
I mean,
you.
that's a song because my father absolutely adored that music.
Oh, everybody does.
Yeah, and I mean, it just takes me back to being a little child and listening to that.
Yes.
But I mean, here you are a soprano,
right,
which comes with quite a high pitch.
Yes.
You must be very disciplined to maintain that.
Oh, that's the word. Underline that. Disciplined.
Because I mean, you would have to exercise your vocal cords regularly.
Yes.
I mean, tell us a little bit about it.
So my voice coach told me that in order to be in tip-top shape, I have to vocalize at least 40 minutes a day out of 24 hours, which is so difficult because if I'm traveling.
Yeah, of course.
And I said, okay, so whenever I'm traveling so much, if I'm in a hotel, how do I rehearse?
Or maybe sitting at the airport.
You
suddenly belt out a tune and everybody.
When I'm at the airport, I just hum. But when I'm in the hotel, guess what I do? So she told me to put a pillow close to my mouth and just. So that's one. And the other thing that I do is I increase the volume of my television. I usually look for like a sports channel.
I like that.
You know, so something where there's
a lot of crowd
and noise going on. So I increase it. I'm like, sorry guys, other guests, I'm sorry, I just have to do this. So at that point, it's just 20 minutes because I dare not do 40 minutes. It would be unfair.
But then I imagine that your vocal cords are like a muscle.
Yes.
You have to, it's a bit like lifting weights.
Yes,
You've got to
you have to keep
them in tip-top
yes,
shape.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
and I don't smoke. You can't have that voice and smoke. I don't even drink, you know. I mean, I'm sure, you know, except wine, but I'm sure other singers drink. But for me, I just don't want to take chances.
No, absolutely. I mean, does your voice crack sometimes? I mean, have you ever...
Singing?
You see what I mean? Because I mean, for example, I mean, obviously I'm not a trained voice.
Singing, right?
Yeah, but when I try to make, you know, sometimes when I like a song and I want to try and hit a high note, I start to cough. You see what I mean? And I just wonder how
before
you're
you get
able
trained,
to
yes, that would happen. So yes, that happened to me once, but that was before I became a professional. That was before I started getting trainings. So I started while I was in college. There was this time I was singing, and I'm glad it wasn't like for like a huge audience. I actually drank soda right before going on stage, and I wanted to, you know when you drink that.
Absolutely.
So it struggles with the air and the passage. So I was about to hit this high note, and I just burped.
That would have been interesting. This titanic sound that wasn't a sonorous sound exploded from your gut.
An Italian song. I'm like, poor audience. And luckily, I had just about 30 or 50 people in there. I was still a student. So yeah, but I'll never forget that experience.
No, that would have been something. That would have been something for a Christmas tape. But I suppose what is most attractive and endearing about your style is not just the high quality and resonance of your voice, but it's also the fact that you've introduced an African element to your classical singing, which is quite unique, isn't it?
It is. So if you look at the languages in the classical genre in the world, across the world, you'll find Latin, Spanish, German, Italian, French, and of course English. But where's African? Tell me what one African language there's there.
Well, part of the reason has to be that there are not that many. I mean, you're a rare breed.
Thank you. So for me, I'm proud of my heritage. I'm Nigerian. I'm African. I'm an African lioness, and I'm proud of it, and I won't trade it for anything else. So for me, I have taken it upon myself to introduce to the world the beautiful languages. Even let me start from my country. There are many languages in Nigeria. So one at a time, I'm on that mission, and I'm hoping there'll be some, as a trailblazer, it's difficult, but I'm hoping some other, upcoming classical singers would not be shy of their languages. And I mean, we've all heard songs in German, Italian, French, Latin. Where is the place for
I think
African?
there are one or two people doing something like that in South Africa.
Yes, yes, there are.
But that's, again, very rare.
I know of two ladies, and I admire them greatly. And there was a guy who passed on, and I really couldn't recover from that because he had such an angelic voice. He was called the Pavarotti of Africa. He died at a young age, So I think that was a loss to Africa.
Sure. And how have people in Nigeria and beyond Nigeria, in other parts of Africa, Europe, the USA, reacted to that introduction of sort of an African element to classical music?
They are appreciative of it. They love it because it's different. They don't get to hear that all the time. And that encourages me to keep doing that, to keep moving on in that angle, that I'm on the right track. And I also wear my African regalia and costumes, and just make sure that I actually have a clothing line that I'm about to launch soon. So, but that started because of that. People would see that and I'm like, oh, I want that outfit that you're wearing. Can you make something for me? So I called it Eco Avenue. But I just make sure that I wear what I wear on stage reflects the culture.
That's fascinating. But listen, please stay with us because we absolutely would love to talk with you some more. You're watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead as we continue our chat with the Nigerian-born international classical singer Abiodun Koya. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Anyekolu. Now, the Christmas season usually brings festive cheer, as well as the classical international singer Abiodun Koya's annual Christmas classical concerts. It's called the Frankincense concerts, and this year it's taking place at the Lagos Continental Hotel on December the 8th. So if you're in Lagos, it's well worth attending and hearing the brilliant soprano sonorously soaring to ever greater classical singing heights. Beyond the singing, of course, there's always an innovative, technologically riveting addition to make the show even more exciting, interesting and glamorous. I know myself, because I attended one such brilliant performance called the Future Symphony, Days of the Avenger. This time, though, as I mentioned, it's called the Frankincense Concert. Take a look at one of Abiodun Koya's previous shows.
Thank you very much.
Quite simply brilliant. And the classical opera singer, Abiodun Koya, is still with me in the studio. Lovely.
Thank you.
So that's an understatement,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
I appreciate that.
Tell us about this year's Frankincense concert, because that one was from a previous year.
Yes, that was last year's.
Yeah. What can we expect?
So
this
that
year?
was a themed Vienna in Lagos.
Right.
This year's concert is themed Christmas Paradise.
Okay. So you always come up with these brilliant themes. I have to say that the Avenger one, that really blew me away. Because it was so contemporary.
I don't know what I was
so futuristic.
So futuristic and so...
Yeah, but at the same time, that voice kind of pulls you back down. You see what I mean? Absolutely brilliant.
So this year's concert is a charity concert, and I'm trying to help with part of the proceeds, not the full proceeds, because I have to be honest. Part of the proceeds would help set up a perpetuate for newly released ex-convicts.
That's a good...
women, the female.
Right.
So it's an initiative that I developed to help women who have just been released from the prison system to find their feet while, you know, maneuvering their path into the society. And so we want to help 100 women. We want them to sell, you know, like drinks and recharge cards and just little things like they can just set up on the side of the street and at least, you know, 5 naira today,
absolutely.
10, 100 naira tomorrow, something is coming in. So at least there's an income, and you never can run out of drinks. People always want to buy drinks, they want to buy recharge cards. So there's a, you know, things that can,
Well, that's a very noble thing. But in terms of the concert itself,
right.
What can people expect?
So I have
apart from your voice,
I have the Laz Ekweme Chorale joining me, because
right.
they're the guest choir. And I have the Frankincense concert ensemble, the orchestra. And then I have a friend, Waleoni, who's a jazz pianist. He's the Yamaha ambassador for West Africa. He's a genius. He actually invented talking drum on the keyboard.
Really?
The talking drum, yeah.
That's quite remarkable.
He helped
it's a bit like
Yamaha.
A synthesizer. Then,
yes,
yeah.
he helped Yamaha
right.
program with the programming of that. So he's also, you know, performing. And we had the Oni of Ife, His Royal Majesty. He's the royal father of the day. We have, you know, we have dignitaries coming as well.
Well, that sounds jolly interesting. And it's going to be in Lagos. No chance of seeing it in Abuja here.
If we have sponsors, why not?
But at the moment, it's going to be Lagos.
It's going to be Lagos,
yeah.
And it's December the 8th, Sunday, this coming Sunday, at 5 p.m. Intercontinental Hotel. Yes.
And this Frankincense concert it's mostly songs that you composed and are available on CD. Is that right?
No, it's not. They're just
it goes beyond
traditional
that,
Christmas
right.
songs, carols, and also indigenous pieces as well. So I try.
There's a mixture of your composition, because you're a composer
right,
as well.
I am. It's a mixture of my compositions and existing carols, and also traditional indigenous pieces. And I try to. It's a variety, a basket of
right.
different fruits.
But you tend to do quite a lot of gospel type songs in the Christmas period.
No,
I mean, not just traditional gospel.
Right.
You've also got techno gospel. Well, I mean, this is true, because I've heard. I mean, you blend all these styles, but all of them are sort of linked to a kind of gospel thing, is it? I mean, I know you do beyond gospel, but for the Frankincense concert.
I remember that particular one. I don't know what I was thinking, but that was just. But I just sort of wanted to experiment with
right.
something outside classical music. So I picked an existing Yoruba gospel song and I blended it. I feel like I'm a scientist, something like a weird, mad scientist.
There's a big pot,
and
you're sort of tossing
exactly,
things in
and
there.
I'm just tossing. What is it?
What came out?
So if I have a cat dog coming on, you know, so.
Well, hopefully not a cat or a dog. But
dog.
Okay,
cat
right.
Dog.
Okay, right. But I mean, just beyond obviously we're looking forward to that concert.
Yeah.
And that is something I have to say, if you have the chance, go and watch
right.
it, because I have seen her in performance
right.
and she's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
But you're also in the US Navy.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
I know.
Is there anything left?
I know. So all my life, I'd always wanted to be a military woman. I'd always wanted to do music and military. I love those two.
So you carry guns and things and sort of
I can't
shoot
talk much about it. But the good thing is that I decided to be in the reserve so that I can also have time to pursue my musical
right.
goals and dreams and all that stuff. So I do that. But now I feel balanced, because for a while, I've had a career for 15 years in music, and I felt something was missing. Really, I felt like it was a calling to the military, you know. And people like, oh, well, what's in it for you? I mean, it's not like you get rich by joining the military. It's not all about wealth or money, you know. It's about the passion and the fulfillment. I love to serve.
Well, the passion, you got a passion for them. Well, let's go out there and kill a few folks. That's how to be passionate.
I'm more on the intelligence angle.
Okay, right. Right, okay. But of course, beyond all that, you've also performed at the White House,
yes.
which is a huge achievement.
Right,
I mean,
right.
there are also numerous events in America,
right.
across the world, but you're now focusing your energies more on Nigeria, is that right?
Yes, and some other countries in Africa. I would love to do a tour of other countries in Africa, especially that, because we have a beautiful heritage. No one else is going to do it for us. Let's be honest. Has it ever been done? Have you seen a European opera singer come to Africa to explore what languages are there, what songs are there, and he or she is, on a mission to sharing that to his or her audiences.
Well, in fairness, some people have done it. People like Ginger Baker, we did a memorial to him. But you're right, not classical singers. And I'm just wondering, I mean, from your point of view, classical music is not actually very popular in Nigeria. Right. I mean, Nigeria has encompassed virtually every genre of music.
Right.
So you really are a pioneer.
Yes, yes. And I'm doing that, and then I'm realizing that it's not popular because it's not made available to them. You can't enjoy.
Yes, they're not experiencing.
Yes, they're not experiencing that. So, so as a trailblazer, that's what I'm doing on the path. And I face a lot of challenges. I'm going to tell you that. I was having that discussion with someone earlier today. It's like I'm trying to, conquer this new territory or city, and then there are walls, brick walls built around, and I have to use like my hammer.
So in a sense, I mean, you're Nigerian.
Yeah.
But it's actually easier for you doing classical music in Europe or America.
Yes, yes. So the reason why I face challenges is because of the support. If I can get the support, the right support, then we're good. Because the creativity is there, and we've gotten that taken care of. But we need the right support.
Well, I hope that support comes through, because you really are absolutely brilliant at what you do. Thank you very much indeed. The Nigerian-born international classical singer, Abiodun Koya.
Thank you.
Thanks again. You're watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead. As we continue our talk today, we focus on what happened in London a few days ago. The international security analyst joins us from our London studio to chat about security questions that have been raised by that terror incident in London. Stay with us.